The stage is set, the lights are bright, and you're about to deliver your presentation. Everything seems to be going smoothly, until it occurs to you, the Q&A session looms on the horizon. For most presenters, this moment is the source of a heart-pounding fear, with 70% of them feeling more nervous about this portion of the presentation than the actual performance. According to surveys, over 70% of people consider the Q&A session one of the most important parts of a presentation, further fueling expectations from presenters. Turn your Q&A session from a foe to a friend by conquering it before you even step up to the podium. For presenters, Q&A sessions can be the most crucial part of their performance. Not only is it an opportunity to showcase their knowledge and expertise, but it also an opportunity to deepen audience engagement and perception of your skills. It's not just about answering questions correctly, but it's also about handling difficult or unexpected questions with grace and poise. A well-handled Q&A session can make a lasting impression on the audience, boost the presenter's confidence, and even lead to new opportunities. On the other hand, a poorly handled Q&A session can have the opposite effect, damaging the presenter's reputation and credibility. Therefore, it's essential for presenters to have a solid strategy and approach in place to handle Q&A sessions effectively. By preparing in advance, being confident and engaging with the audience, and having a contingency plan for challenging questions, presenters can turn this critical moment into a triumph. Understanding your audience and the content of your presentation is key to a successful Q&A session. Before you step onto the stage, take the time to research who will be in the audience and what they are interested in hearing about. This information can help you tailor your presentation and anticipate potential questions. Use this knowledge to create a bridge between your content and your audience's needs and interests. Anticipating potential questions is an essential part of preparation. It not only helps you to be better prepared, but also increases your confidence when faced with questions during the Q&A session. Think about what information your audience might want to know and what questions they may have. This preparation will also help you identify areas that may need clarification in your presentation. Once you've identified potential questions, start preparing answers. This doesn't mean that you have to have a scripted response, but having a general idea of what you want to say can help you stay on track. Consider using analogies, stories, and examples to make your answers engaging and memorable. Finally, make sure to rehearse your responses to potential questions. This can help you iron out any wrinkles and increase your confidence. Also, consider involving a colleague in your practice session. Ask them to pretend to be the audience and pose a variety of challenging questions to help you prepare for anything that may come your way during the actual Q&A session. This will not only give you the opportunity to fine-tune your responses, but also build your confidence and ability to handle. Rehearsal is especially important for those who are new to public speaking or are presenting in a new language. It's like practicing a sport. The more you do it, the more comfortable and confident you become. In summary, preparing for a Q&A session requires research, anticipation, preparation, and rehearsal. By taking these steps, you can increase your confidence, improve your presentation, and enhance the audience's experience. You may be no stranger to difficult questions and challenging audience interactions. However, it's important to remain calm and composed, even in the face of adversity. This not only conveys confidence and expertise, but it also helps set a positive tone for the Q&A session and ensures that your audience remains engaged. Before answering any questions, it's crucial to listen attentively and fully understand what the person is asking. This not only shows respect for the audience member, but it also helps ensure that you provide a relevant and accurate answer. For beginners, this may mean taking a deep breath, slowing down, and avoiding the urge to jump in with a response too quickly. For seasoned presenters, it may mean avoiding the temptation to rely on past experiences and instead remaining open and present in the moment. When it comes to providing effective answers, a little creativity can go a long way. By using analogies and examples, you can help make complex concepts more relatable and memorable for your audience. By using analogies and examples, you can make even the most abstract concepts come to life, keeping your audience engaged and helping drive home your key messages. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, these tips will help you effectively navigate any Q&A session and deliver powerful, memorable presentations. Signaling the start of a Q&A session can transform your presentation from ordinary to exceptional by boosting audience attention and engagement. Research has proven that signaling the Q&A session can reignite the audience's focus and keep them invested in your message. By signaling the next steps of your presentation, you'll clarify what's to come and eliminate any confusion or uncertainty your audience may have. And by inviting questions, you'll foster a more interactive and dynamic relationship between you and your audience. The Q&A session also provides a valuable opportunity for you to assess how well your audience understands your message and address any misunderstandings. And for those who may feel nervous about presenting, signaling the Q&A session can ease anxiety by giving you the chance to respond to any questions or concerns from your audience. Statistics also show that signaling the start of the Q&A session can help you maintain control of the presentation. Here is another way to deal with nerves during a Q&A session, making it funny. By injecting humor into the Q&A session, the presenter can ease their nerves and create a more relaxed and enjoyable atmosphere for the audience, making the Q&A session more engaging and memorable. Acknowledge questions and the people asking them. It's yet another crucial step in ensuring a successful Q&A session. Acknowledge questions with a smile, a nod, or even a simple thank you. This small gesture can go a long way in building rapport with your audience and making them feel valued. By acknowledging their question, you're sending a message that you're engaged with them and that their thoughts and opinions matter. It's also important to acknowledge the person asking the question. This personalized approach makes them feel seen and heard and helps establish a connection with the audience. These are some of the expressions we can use. Using these expressions can go a long way in creating a positive connection with the audience and a more successful Q&A session. Did you know that studies show that over 60% of audience members don't actually hear the questions asked during a Q&A session? On top of this, over 60% of presenters admit to not fully understanding the question they were asked during a Q&A session. These are just a few reasons why repeating the question is essential. Firstly, it helps to ensure that both the presenter and the audience are on the same page, and that everyone has heard and understood the question accurately. By repeating the question, the presenter can also confirm that the person asking the question has framed it the way they intended, and avoid any misunderstandings or misinterpretations. Furthermore, repeating the question also allows other members of the audience to hear it more clearly and follow along with the discussion. This can help to increase engagement and make the presentation more interactive, encouraging other members of the audience to ask questions as well. In addition to this, repeating the question allows you to buy yourself a bit of time to think about your response before diving into an answer. By taking this extra step, you can avoid giving a poorly thought out or irrelevant response. Finally, repeating the question shows that the presenter values the audience and is taking their question seriously. It demonstrates professionalism, attentiveness, and a commitment to providing clear and concise answers, which can help to build trust and credibility with the audience. In a Q&A session, rephrasing questions can be incredibly effective in ensuring a smooth and productive experience for both the presenter and the audience. When a presenter receives a confusing question, rephrasing it into something they understand can help them provide a more accurate and relevant answer. On the other hand, if the question is difficult or the presenter doesn't know the answer, rephrasing it into something they can answer can still provide valuable information to the audience. In essence, rephrasing questions helps bridge any communication gaps between the presenter and the audience, leading to a more productive and satisfying Q&A session for everyone involved. These expressions help you restate the question in a way that you understand, and they show that you are actively listening to your audience and engaging with them. It's not uncommon for a speaker to think they have answered a question when in reality they haven't. Checking that the answer was answered can help ensure that the audience member feels heard and understood. So why is it so important to double-check? If a speaker doesn't effectively answer a question, it can create confusion and leave a negative impression. That's why it's critical to make sure the answer was answered before moving on to the next question. So how can you check that the answer was answered effectively? One approach is to ask the audience member if they feel the answer was clear and if they have any follow-up questions. Another is to summarize the answer and ask if that's what they were looking for. Both of these methods can help ensure that the audience member feels heard and understands the answer. Here are a few of the expressions you can use to confirm you have answered the question. Using these kinds of expressions shows the audience member that you value their questions and that you care about making sure they understand the answers. Have you ever presented a topic you were passionate about, only to be faced with a non-responsive audience that just wasn't as engaged as you thought they would be? It can be disheartening, but it's important to remember that just because you're interested, doesn't mean the audience will be too. So, how can you deal with a confused or non-responsive audience during a Q&A session? The first step is to identify the cause of their confusion or lack of engagement. Are they having trouble understanding the content? Is the topic too complex for them? Are they simply bored or disinterested? Once you've figured out the root cause, you can then adjust your approach accordingly. One way to deal with this issue is to make your presentation more interactive. Ask questions, assign pairs or groups to come up with questions, or involve the audience in interactive activities such as polls, quizzes, or hands-on demonstrations. This can keep their attention and make the session more engaging. Another suggestion is to actively involve the audience by asking open-ended questions and encouraging their participation. You can also try shifting the focus to a related issue that they may be more interested in and incorporating their questions into the discussion. By creating a relaxed and welcoming atmosphere, showing genuine interest in their concerns, and allowing for open dialogue, you can make the audience feel heard, valued, and appreciated. Building rapport and creating a relaxed atmosphere right from the start can go a long way in encouraging active participation and engagement during the Q&A session. In a nutshell, an effective Q&A session begins at the start of the presentation by creating a relaxing atmosphere and building rapport with the audience. By making your presentation interactive, encouraging participation, and showing genuine interest in the audience's concerns from the very beginning, you can create an engaging and productive Q&A experience. Do you know that 60% of sales presentations fail due to the presenter's inability to handle objections effectively? The question is, can you afford to miss out on this crucial aspect of Q&A sessions and risk losing your audience's interest and confidence? Objections and concerns are a natural part of any Q&A session, but it's how you handle them that can make all the difference. In this section, we'll explore how to effectively address objections and provide solutions during a Q&A session. The first step in addressing objections is to listen carefully and acknowledge the concern. This shows that you value the audience's input and are taking their concerns seriously. Repeat the objection back to the person to make sure you understand it correctly and give them the opportunity to clarify. It's important to stay calm and professional when addressing objections, even if the tone of the question or concern is confrontational. Take a deep breath and respond in a polite and respectful manner. Once you understand the concern, provide relevant information that addresses the objection. Be honest and transparent, and provide a clear and concise answer. If you don't know the answer, let the audience know that you'll research the matter and get back to them. Using examples and analogies can help clarify complex information and make it easier for the audience to understand. Where possible, offer practical solutions to address the concern. Provide specific steps or actions that can be taken to resolve the issue. If the solution is not something you can provide immediately, let the audience know what steps you'll take to find a resolution. Finally, stay positive and maintain a solutions-focused mindset. Focus on the opportunities that the concern presents, rather than the challenges, and look for ways to turn the situation into a positive outcome. To recap, effectively addressing objections and providing solutions during a Q&A session requires careful listening, a calm and professional demeanor, relevant information, clear and concise answers, practical solutions, and a positive, solutions-focused mindset. Difficult questions during presentations can leave anyone feeling flustered and unprepared. In fact, 3 out of 4 presenters face the same challenge, but with the right techniques and with the proper approach, you'll be ready to demonstrate your knowledge, increase your credibility, and tackle any tough question thrown your way. Handling tough questions is like playing a high-pressure game of chess. It requires strategic thinking, quick reactions, and the ability to stay calm under pressure. By being well prepared and knowledgeable about your topic, you'll be able to answer with confidence and show your problem-solving skills, earning the respect and trust of your audience. With these strategies in mind, here are 6 tips for handling challenging questions and situations in a Q&A session. If someone keeps interrupting, it's important to remember that the audience is likely on your side. You can handle the situation by politely but firmly saying that you have a lot of material to cover and need to keep moving in order to finish on time. Politely encourage the interrupting individual to keep their questions for the designated Q&A session. If someone continues to interrupt and challenge your views, offer to have a discussion with them after the presentation is over. If someone is disrupting the presentation with disruptive behaviors like shuffling papers, talking, or whispering, address the issue by calmly saying, "I think some people are having trouble hearing. Could we please be more quiet?" If possible, consider moving around the presentation area and standing near the disruptive person. This can force them to be more aware of their actions and quiet down. By handling difficult questions with grace and expertise, you'll not only answer the question but also gain the respect and trust of your audience. Dealing with off-topic questions can be a tricky balancing act. On one hand, you want to be accommodating to your audience and answer their questions to the best of your ability. On the other hand, you don't want to get sidetracked and lose sight of your main objectives. The key to successfully navigating off-topic questions is to stay focused, stay on track, and redirect the conversation back to your main topic. So, how can you effectively handle off-topic questions? One approach is to acknowledge the question and thank the audience member for asking it. Then, smoothly transition the conversation back to your main topic by using a phrase like, "That's a great question, and while it's not directly related to our discussion today, let me offer a quick answer and then get back to our main topic." Another approach is to use humor. A light-hearted joke can help diffuse a tense moment and redirect the conversation back to your main topic. You can say something like, "Thanks for that, but I think we need to stay on topic today, because there's just too much ground to cover." Ultimately, dealing with off-topic questions requires a combination of tact, diplomacy, and skill. With a little bit of preparation and some creative problem solving, you can keep your Q&A session focused, productive, and on track. Have you ever noticed how a negative question can drain the energy from a room? It can be tempting to become defensive or flustered, but bear in mind that the words we choose can have a powerful impact on our audience. It's important to remember that these questions can actually be positive opportunities to demonstrate your expertise, credibility, and problem-solving skills and turn that negative energy into a positive opportunity. By reframing a difficult question and looking at it through a different lens, we can turn what could be a potentially hostile moment into a chance to showcase our skills and connect with our audience. One way to turn a negative question into a positive opportunity is to reframe the question in a more positive light. For example, if a person asks, "Why did your previous product fail?" you could respond by saying, "That's a great question, and it's actually one that we learned a lot from. Let me share with you the valuable insights we gained and how we're using that knowledge to improve our current offerings." By using these tactics, you can turn what could have been a negative moment into a positive one and show your audience that you're confident, knowledgeable, and a good sport. So next time you're faced with a negative question, take a deep breath and see it as an opportunity to shine. When it comes to handling inappropriate questions, it's important to understand that as a speaker, you have the right to refuse to answer any question that you find uncomfortable, unethical, or unprofessional. Here are some common situations when it's appropriate to refuse to answer a question. Questions about your personal life, family, health, finances, or any other sensitive topic should be off limits. You can politely say, "I prefer not to discuss that." If a question is asking for information that is confidential or protected by privacy laws, it's your duty to refuse to answer by saying something like, "I am sorry, but I am not at liberty to disclose that information." Questions that are racist, sexist, or discriminatory in any other way are not acceptable and you have the right to refuse to answer. If a question is not related to your topic or presentation, you can say, "I am sorry, but that opens up an entirely different question and unfortunately we do not have enough time today." It's essential to handle inappropriate questions with empathy and understanding. Remember, you don't want to create a confrontational situation, but at the same time, you have the right to set boundaries and protect your privacy and professional integrity. When it's time to wrap up the Q&A session, it's essential to revisit the key points that were made during the discussion. This not only helps to reinforce the information that was shared, but it also gives the audience a chance to absorb and retain what they learned. Reiterate your main message. It is the heart of your presentation, and it's essential to emphasize it one more time before you finish. This will help to drive the point home and make sure that it sticks with your audience long after the session is over. Ending on a positive note is like leaving a sweet taste in your audience's mouths. It will ensure that they remember your presentation fondly and with a smile. Highlight a memorable moment from the Q&A session, or express gratitude for the audience's contribution to the discussion. This will leave everyone feeling good about the experience. Finally, it's important to show your appreciation for the audience's participation and engagement during the Q&A session. After all, without their questions and feedback, the session wouldn't have been as impactful. Thanking the audience will not only make them feel valued, but it will also help to build positive relationships and foster a sense of community. These points are the foundation for delivering amazing Q&A sessions that connect you with your audience and make you shine. Now, it's up to you to take these tips and put them into action. And, as always, practice makes perfect. So, don't be afraid to step up and challenge yourself. But, before you go, we want to thank you for tuning in to this video. We hope you found it helpful and informative. But, most importantly, we want to hear from you. What did you think of this video? Did you learn something new? Did it inspire you? Let us know in the comments. So, here's to your continued success and see you on the next video.